Ed's process of how we do the show is basically, it mimics how the show looks, which is basically exploiting human error and living within a time that I wasn't able to live within, which was the classic era of cartoons. And we just approached it in a classical sense of handmade, hand done, hand everything throughout the whole system of the process. The show started off with a brief little premise, maybe a 2-sentence premise of like, hey, you know, Eddy picks up a marble and has the idea of, you know, selling marbles as miniature jawbreakers to make a ton of money.
And then the premises are given out to individual writers to write a 4-page outline, and that's when the beats are fleshed out and gags are added, and it's more about action. And then we move on to scripts once the outline's been approved, and then the dialogue's added and all the small details that go into the screenplay and the interaction between the characters.
We go from scripts, we go to storyboards, and at the storyboard phase is where everything happens. The interpretation of the script, the spontaneity of what they're happening, the characters doing what they're doing, the interjection of gags, the side threads of things going awry on another level while that premise is still going through. I mean, it's the fun part.
And then when the thumbnails have been presented to Danny, they're presented in front of the whole studio on a huge billboard. And we go through it, and then any gags that don't work are taken out. Any gags that might be better presented earlier on in the episode are moved around. And it's a huge communal process. We all have a say in how an episode turns out, which is really cool.
At that point, that board now goes to our animation directors who time the show, to Korea, who ends up doing layouts, key animation and coloring, at which point all that raw stock footage is sent back here to where we'll sit in an edit room with an Avid, put it all together. Then it's put out to our incredible sound design guys at DB Sound, and then over to Patrick, who's composer for the show. We mix it down, get it on tape, and it's FedExed over to Atlanta.
And the people at AKA, they put in hours upon hours, and all those guys are unreal talent. I've seen them whip up full mural pictures in like 5 minutes, not even, and it's perfect to spec. So I mean, really, everybody on the show is just absolutely wonderful. They're a bunch of geniuses, in my opinion.